Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is Nick from Gimme Market, and today we're going to be doing another review. We're going to be talking about the settings on your Taylormade Qi35. Did it make any difference, in terms of we've got movable weights here, we've got the sleeve setting where we can stay in standard, we can drop it all the way into lower, we can go up to higher, which will increase the loft, and we can also put into drawer settings. So I'm going to test all the different configurations in their most extreme form for you guys, talk you through the data. Will it make any difference? Let's find out. Okay, so welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a review on getting the Qi35 set up and effectively working through the different settings that are available within this driver. So what have we got? Well, the driver itself, very solid product. I recently did a little comparison against the Sim driver, so go and check that out later on, or maybe first before you watch this, just to see how it performs against the driver from 5 years ago. Very positive, I might add. But great product, really enjoyed hitting it so far in all the reviews that I've done, but there is the ability to really dial this driver in. My background is in fitting, and so I just want to talk you through potentially by moving some of the different weights here and the sleeve setting, how I can manipulate flight, the height, the trajectory, the spin rates, particularly take a bias out of play, or maybe increase a bias in terms of if you want to make it more draw bias or more fade bias. So I'm going to talk you through the different settings available. I'm going to take it to its most extremes. I'm going to hit some shots in standard to start with. So that's going to be standard in the sleeve setting. That's going to be weight back. So as you would see the product on the shelf in your pro shop or in your big superstore nearby. Then I'm going to go through some different settings for you. I'll explain, hit some shots. Stay with me, let's just see what the details tell us in terms of the numbers. Okay guys, so just to start with, I'm gonna hit the product. This is a 9-degree head I've got here. I've got a Fubuki 60S, 45 inches. This is a shaft that I know will complement this head very well for me particularly, so I'm expecting the data to be pretty good. I've got this just in standard on the sleeve setting, got the heavy weight at the back just to start with. Gonna just hit some just to get going. Gonna try and be as consistent as I can for you guys, obviously, so I'm gonna try and average out the same sort of club head speed and strike point. So I'll probably get rid of any absolute horror shows and try and use the data from the most solid strikes for you. Okay, so I've got some nice solid numbers there from the standard setting. And what I've now done is I've just basically dropped the heavy weight forward. So it's got two weights here in the Qi35. If you're not familiar with it, you've got 13 and a 3. So I've dropped the heavy weight forward. So that what that is effectively doing is bringing the center of gravity further forwards into the head. In principle, what that is designed to do is give me a fraction more launch, but lower the spin because of where I have the potential to hit the ball above the center of gravity now. Typically, it sometimes drops a little bit of what we call MOI, so it makes it a little less stable, but that's the trade-off you get for creating a driver which is potentially lower spin. So, Taylormade are actually saying that you don't drop a huge amount of playability or forgiveness off the driver, even though you have the ability to create lower spin. So, gonna hit some shots now. Let's have a little look at what the data is gonna suggest for us. Okay, so first change there, really interesting. So for me, I saw a difference of about 200 RPMs on average there between the standard setting with the weight back and bringing the weight forwards. What I mean by that is bringing the weight forwards, the spin came down by about 200 RPMs there. Ball speed was very similar, 1 mile an hour better with the weight back. And I would say dispersion was actually a little bit tighter with the weight back as well. I found it a little bit easier to turn the driver over there with the weight forwards. And the overall apex of the flight, the peak height, dropped down by 10 feet. So it went from 89 to 80. So definitely a more compact flight. But you'd have to say weight back so far definitely performed better for me. Now I've got the next setting here, which is I've taken the sleeve to its lowest setting as it's described here by Taylormade. Effectively, that's 2 degrees less loft. So 9 degrees set to 7. Got the weight back to start with. Let's see what this now does. So down by the golf ball, the head looks now more open because I've subtracted the loft off of it. Yeah, definitely looks and sits a little bit more open. So let's see how it performs. Okay guys, so that was really interesting there. So just hit that, that's the 9 degree, but in its lowest setting, so that's 7 degrees that's set at. Definitely you can see down by the ball, the blade is, the driver head is a little bit more open. And personally, I prefer that. I am a drawer of the golf ball. So again, all these numbers are in relation to my personal ball flight, which tends to be a little soft draw. That's what I like to see. That's what I see in my mind's eye when I step onto any golf hole in the world, rightly or wrongly. And so I wanted to try this there, weight back, so heavier, 13 gram at the back, 3 gram at the front, lowest setting, really interesting. So ball speed stayed exactly the same. So it's been 155 now of all the models, which is great kudos to the head actually and the consistency across it. Although my strike's been pretty good so far today, pretty much out the middle. Club head speed has pretty much stayed at 105 for the whole test, which is good as well for the purpose of testing. But on that particular instance there, the launch came down a fraction. I am using a little less loft, but the spin pretty much stabilized and was almost identical to where I had it when I had it in the standard setting of 9 degrees. So the weight back definitely makes a difference to the spin, because I saw a bit of a drop off in spin with when I brought the weight forwards, which is exactly what Taylormade would want. But what was really interesting there is that the dispersion was definitely straighter. So because the open face, it suits my draw pattern, allowed me to get the ball started on line or slightly right of line a little bit easier, and then draw it back onto target. So my dispersion went from an average of around 12 yards left to averaging almost bang on the line there. I was about 4 to 5 yards left of target. So really interesting. Definitely with this particular driver model, that's the preferred sort of visual I would like in terms of the head. The overall distances, 252 in terms of the carry, and it was just a little bit shorter overall than where I was with the standard setting there as well. So a couple of yards on both of those sides, but I'd almost sacrifice that for the dispersion. So for me, better dispersion, not as long as the original setting, which seems to be the best for me for distance in terms of launch, spin, ball speed. But yeah, really interesting. So far that's my preferred setting. Now I'm going to go in, I've got the weight at the back, the heavier weight forwards now, just to see if we can, what that's going to affect in terms of the ball flight. So let's have a little look. Okay, so visual down by the golf ball, the head still looks that fraction bit open. That hasn't obviously changed because of the weighting, but it'd be interesting to see what happens to the spin rate here. So I saw slightly lower launch by taking the loft down, but I preferred the face angle, which neutralized my dispersion. All right, so probably the best data so far for myself, that was the lowest loft setting and weight forwards there as well. And yeah, performed really strongly for me. Again, I definitely prefer when the face is a little bit open because it feels like I'm gonna get that ball started online or slightly right of target. So that was really interesting. But then having the weight forwards as well, I didn't feel like it was gonna turn over in quite the same way I did when I had the loft up. So that was quite interesting. My dispersion there was actually all slightly right of the line. So for me, that's absolutely perfect because I'm always trying to take that big left miss out of play. So for all you guys out there, if you do suffer from a hook, if you're going in for your fitting, it might be worth just taking that higher loft and lofting it down to its lowest setting to get that face angle open. And then if you can do any of the, obviously the weighting in terms of heel or toe, getting it into that toe section as well is going to slow the toe section down, stop you from turning that face over. Just a few little tricks or things that you can ask that your fitter to do, or if you're testing product at the moment, a couple of things you can do in terms of optimizing the setup for yourself. Definitely worked for me there. If I was going and I was going to get a Taylormade driver right now, that would be the setting for me. I believe that would really sort of optimize things. Interesting enough, still standard has given me my longest drives in terms of best ball speed, launch, spin, carry, and total yardage. But if I'm looking for overall dispersion, then the last setup that I just hit, that gave me the best dispersion as well. So I'm not the longest guy in the world. Hitting fairways is definitely a strength of mine. But if I can eke out that little bit of distance as well, then that's absolutely perfect. So on to the next setting now, which is going to be highest loft, weight back. So this is going to look a little bit closed for me, no doubt. And I'm expecting a bit more launch, a bit more spin because I've taken the loft from 9 to 11. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so this is the highest loft setting now. So this is the 9 degrees set at 11, and all of a sudden the head starts to look a bit toed in, which for anybody else who plays a draw out there, you'll know that that's not our preferred look visually, because it looks like it's going to start the ball left and go left as well. So definitely not my preferred visual, I have to say. But let's hit some, let's see how we get on with it. Okay guys, really interesting there. So that was highest loft setting with weight back, and it definitely gave me more launch. My launch went up to 16 degrees there, whereas previously I'd averaged with the standard setting, for example, 13, and with the lowest loft I'd been down sort of into the 12s. So definitely give me more launch, and it also gave me a bit more spin as well. So I was averaging there closer to 2,500. So that's around sort of 200 to 300 RPMs more than with the standard setting, and a good 400 RPMs more than where I was with the lowest loft and with the, with that face angle down, and also in terms of with the weight forwards. So you can see that it definitely works. Peak height went from 90 feet to 110. So in terms of getting over the top of tall trees and over dog legs, absolutely fantastic. What I did struggle with was, with it looking closed, I felt like I had to fight it. So because I felt like I was going to hit it left, I was overcompensating, which I was trying to be as neutral as I possibly could there. But there's something deep within me just wanted to try and open that face up. So I definitely missed a couple of drives out to the right-hand side there as well. Interesting enough, gave me my longest carry of all the setups so far by 1 yard, but didn't give me my longest total yardage. So if you're trying to hit the ball high, perfect for that. If you're trying to encourage a draw, I think if you can release the face with that closed face, it's definitely going to encourage that. But if you're somebody where you're fighting the left-hand side, lofting up your driver, definitely not an option. You're better going for a higher base loft and lofting the face down. Definitely, I think that's going to be the way forward for you guys when you're getting fit. Now I'm in the highest loft setting still, but then I've brought the weight forwards just to see if that helps sort of balance out the launch and the spin a little bit. I'm still thinking I'm going to have to probably feel like I'm going to fight it a little bit, but I'm going to try and release through it as much as I can, try and play for that draw shape again. Let's see how we get on. Okay, so quite interesting findings there. So that was the highest loft setting, but with the weight forwards. For me, found certainly launch was still up there at sort of 16 degrees, and spin was still on the high side. It dropped down by 100 RPMs, but it was still 2,400, which for me is on the higher side, I would say, based on where I usually am with the standard settings. Actually found the dispersion slightly better there. Felt like the face wanted to square up a little bit better for me. So my overall dispersion was a little bit better, but the actual numbers were very comparable. I'll pop them just below here. So ultimately, definitely when I loft these heads up here, because it looks closed, it kind of forces me to feel like I have to hold the face open. So actually, as much as it looks like it wants to go left, it actually prevents me from hitting it left, which is quite interesting and maybe something to consider there, guys, if you can get your head around that. Now I'm going to finish off with just the last setting on the sleeve here. I've got this in the upright setting. So this is 9 degrees upright, got the weight back, just to see if I can make that face angle a bit more upright and whether that does anything in terms of encouraging more draw. Yeah, again, I'll try and not react to the face angle, but let's see what that does for us. Okay, so just finishing off the test there. So I had the driver set in the 9 degrees but upright setting just to see how that affected the data. And ultimately sort of launch and spin came back down again compared to where it was when I had it in the highest loft setting. So we were back in sort of the area of about 13 degrees of launch. Spin also came down as well, but I definitely found that a bit easier to turn over, which isn't my preferred. I like hitting the draw, but I don't want to see it go too far left. So for any of you slicers out there who want to try and correct that, definitely putting it into the upright setting on that Taylormade sleeve is going to help you guys with that. Weight back, so it felt nice and solid. Ball speed retention was good. Again, I'll pop the data just below here so you guys can see. But overall, really interesting. Definitely some differences from setting to setting. As you go up in loft, definitely going to see more launch, see more spin. Face was closed, so for me, it looked like it was gonna go left. And then as I dropped the loft down, opened the face up, definitely friendlier for me as a draw of the golf ball. Launch and spin came with it as well. So I would say higher club head speed players can afford to do that. Lower club head speed players, you're probably gonna benefit from having more loft on the golf club. But again, choose your poison there. It's all about face angle, I think. So if you're somebody who struggles with the rights, you probably wanna see more of a closed face, at which point you're gonna go lower loft, loft it up. And for all the guys who hit hooks out there, you wanna go potentially high loft, loft it down to open that face angle up. But let me know if that was useful, guys. Comment below for me. If you haven't already, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Any other videos you'd like to see me do, whether it be Taylormade or any of the other sort of brands out there, please let me know in the comments below, and look forward to seeing you at the next review.